I am doing my YouTube channel, my YouTube video at 9:30 in the morning. I've been up for 4 hours. I don't know why. It's like, oh my gosh, usually on the weekend I try to sleep in at least until 7 or 8, but this morning I got up at 5:30 after Steve left, and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Of course, Maddie was running around wanting, well, she wanted, I have her bed right now, her bed next to my side of the bed, and she wanted to get up. So I said, okay, well, I'll let you up. I'll take you outside and let you run around a few minutes, and then we're going to come back in and I'm going to turn on YouTube. And before I start telling you anything else, I just want to tell you who I am. My name is Marilyn. If you haven't been here before, I have an online e-commerce store, which is called Goldenrod Primitives. I put the link below if you want to go check it out. I do all handmade. I do carry a couple of tools and things like that for a lot of things that I do, but other than that, I do all handmade. And so I thought, well, I need to start a YouTube channel. So I've only done, what, 3 videos? This is my 4th, I think. I've met a lot of people. And I wanted to bring 2 of them in to talk to you about them and why they are so special to me this morning. Again, I turned on the TV like at, oh my gosh, 6 in the morning, 6:30 by the time I got the dog back in and all. It was 6:30. Got my tea and sat down and started watching. And there is one YouTuber, she has a vlog. Her name is Kiko, and I'll put her link below so that you can go in and visit with her. She is just amazing. She is from Canada, and she does all handmade stuff. She doesn't really, she says she doesn't have a store or anything. She says she just does this because um, she loves to have downtime, and this is her downtime. And this morning she did it was just so nice. It came out, I think it came out this morning, because I think I was the second one to comment. And she was showing this beautiful mat that she's making, and she did all of the quilting part on the sewing machine. And the reason I'm saying this is because I was going to show you, after I talk a little bit about some things, I was going to show you one of the things that I've started, and I've started a project bag. I wished I had seen her video before so I could have quilted the fabric first, because her mat is turning out so pretty. So anyway, y'all check it out down below, and go visit with her. She is just amazing. Doesn't talk, music all the way. She just puts a few little things in there and lets you read it, but it's just so soothing. And I needed that this morning. Another person that I want to talk about, and I haven't watched him this morning, but I wanted to talk to you because he talked about patience last week. His name, Old Me Living Better, Old Mike. If you have not seen him, he is just amazing. And yeah, last week he was talking about patience. And boy, this week it's been wild. We've had some bad news about my brother-in-law, and my husband is very concerned, and he's sick, and we're hoping that everything will work out, but it's really taken a toll out on us this week. So my patience has been very, I want to say, low with my students this week, with my mom, poor mom. My patience wears thin. And I think he just gave some of the best things about patience and what we need to do to try to hold on to our patience. So if you haven't watched his videos, if you haven't visited with him, please do. I'm going to put his picture up here, but I'm also going to put his things down below so you can go and check them. But it really resonated with me, and I needed that. And I needed that this week, and I'm so glad I watched it last week, because I thought about him as I was working, and as I was working with my students, and I was working, with my husband, because he was just constantly asking me questions and doing things. And can you look this up? Can you do this? Can you do that? And my patience was wearing thin. And I thought, okay, what would old Mike tell me to do? And it really helps. So go watch his video. But another thing is that he also does was when he does his videos, he uses a journal. Now, I don't have a journal, but I do have a folder, and I love to journal on with my folder, and I like all my little pictures. And this week, I needed to get away from that computer for a little while. I do teach online, so I was on the computer. I'm on the computer all day long, and I just needed to get away. So I took a few hours on Wednesday, and I decided that I would take my things, my folder, my journal, my planner. I took it all with me, and I went to a coffee shop, and I took myself out to lunch. Haven't been out to lunch in a while. It was pretty expensive, but the ambiance there is well worth it. So I did some things, and I thought, what do I want to talk about this week? And as I was working last Saturday, I made some banana nut bread. And and why am I saying this? I'm jumping from here to there, but it does have a reason. It does have a reason. So the banana nut bread that I made last week was my grandmother's recipe. We are all trying to get healthy and eat healthy. And so my daughter, my oldest daughter, Brandy, has said, Mom, no more buying bread at the store, no more buying cookies at the store, no more of this. If we're going to have them, let's make them. So I said, okay, well, I wanted something sweet, and I thought, I got to have something, and I can't go buy anything. She won't let me. She said, no, you're not going to do that. Steve's on a diet. So I pulled out my grandmother's recipes. Granny. I pulled out her recipes, and I found her zucchini bread. Now, zucchini bread doesn't sound good to me, but banana nut bread does. And so I looked at her recipe, and I thought, I wonder if I took the zucchini out and replaced it with bananas, would it still be good? It was amazing. It was amazing. And it was my grandmother's recipe. And I went on Pinterest, and I saw that a lot of things that she had on there they were putting a lot of things in it that she did not have. But if you think about it, the things that we made that were made back in the day were much healthier. So I decided not to add anything else to it except some chia seeds. And I added chia seeds, can't taste them or anything, but they're very good for you. So I added that to her banana nut bread, and it was so very good. In fact, I just had some with my coffee a few minutes ago. I've already eaten that, and I've got my coffee here. And why am I telling you about banana nut bread? Well, it was my grandmother's, and I don't know, and it was handwritten in her handwriting, and the card was all yellow, and it was almost hard to see, hard to read it because she did it in pencil. So as I was sitting there in the coffee shop trying to decide what to talk about, I got to thinking about a banana nut bread, and I thought about my grandmother, and I thought about my grandfather. And I thought, you know what? Why not talk about cherishing our ancestors? Now, I know that we're in 2025, and a lot of people, I don't know what it is. Some people just say, well, I'm not into that. They're gone. I don't care. I'm not into that. I don't care where I came from. And that's just so amazing to me that people don't want to know where they came from, but to each his own. So I'm not going to say anything about that. But what I am going to say is why I want to give you 3 reasons why we should cherish our ancestors, why I think we should cherish our ancestors. And I want you to think. So who did we come from? Where, what were they like? Who we are, Did they pass down things that they learned before to us? Our values. I'm looking at my notes. And knowing who we are, this is really interesting. Knowing who we are helps us to connect to our roots and appreciate our unique heritage. Well, that really resonated with me because I have to tell you a little bit about my grandmother. My grandmother is Portuguese. She's was 100% Portuguese. Now, she was born in Massachusetts. No, yes, she was born in Massachusetts. I'm sorry, I had to think. I had to think back. But her parents came from the Azores. They came over in the late 1800s from the Azores. Now, why did they come over here? Why did they come over here? So I did a little bit of research and I found out, Brandy and I did some research a while back, and we found out that back in the late 1800s, there was a famine, really bad famine, and the fishermen were, not able, they just could not make a living. And so they decided at that time, between the late 1850s and 1880s, there was an influx of immigrants from the Azores, and they all went up, and they came in around the Boston area. Now, my grandmother, her family, her mother went to Gloucester, and what is Gloucester well known for? Is well known for their fishermen, for the fishing industry. So, what I found, and I went to visit. I took my mom and my aunt up there years ago. In fact, I believe it was after my grandmother passed away that we went up to Boston and looked around in Boston. But then we went to Gloucester. And look at my little puppy. She wants to go outside. Come here, Maddie. Come here. You can't go outside right now. And so I went, and if you know anything about Gloucester, that is where the fisherman statue is. And I'm going to put a link up here for it. And it is like, it brought back so much. Not brought back, but it made me feel like I was in a cultural area of where my grandmother grew up and where my great grandmother was and my great grandfather. Now, there is a statue of a woman, and she has a little boy next to her, and she's with child, and she's looking out to sea, and it's a bronze statue. And that could have been my great grandmother, because my great grandmother was pregnant with my grandmother when my great grandfather went out to sea and he never returned. And so we went to see if we could find his name on the board, and we couldn't. And we found out, because we did a lot of investigating while we were there. They said there were so many at that time, and this was like probably 1903, 04, something like that, because my grandmother was born in 1910. So they moved from the Azores in the early 1900s, but my grandmother already had a brother, and he was probably 4 or 5. So they may have, we don't know exactly when they came over, but it was in the early 1900s. Then my grandmother, so probably in 1909 is when my great grandfather was killed, or was lost at sea. He was never found. The boat was never found. And there was no record of his boat. There was no record of him in the archives or anything. And they told us it was because there were so many at that time that it probably just got lost. It probably didn't get filed, or it might have gotten, filed and it got lost. So his name is not on the wall like a lot of people are. But that story, but I just kind of wanted to share that with you, because that tells you what the cultural heritage and the uniqueness of how my grandmother's mother survived, and how my grandmother survived, and then how my grandmother met my grandfather and how they made a life together. So much more. I'm in my 70s now, and boy, would I love to have her here so I could ask her questions. Back in the day, she used to tell me things, and I would say, "Oh, that's really cool, Granny." But then I got to thinking, I wished I had really, really paid attention. Now I paid quite a bit of attention to Granny because she was just like uh, she was my people. She was my people, and she was my grandmother, and she's where I learned to do all of the handmade stuff that I do. She was the one who did the quilt that I was telling you about, and so I was very, very close to her, and so the cultural heritage and the identity of who I am comes from the identity of who she is and who her mom was and her parents and so on and so on and so on. It's just so amazing to me. One of the other things is that you look at whenever you're talking about cherishing our ancestors is lessons from the past. Now, that to me, that kind of goes in with the heritage and the identity, but it talks about the struggles and the triumphs, learning from their mistakes, learning from what they've done, learning from your own parents' mistakes, and not judging anybody, just absolutely just learning from the past. And it's just so amazing to me. I have to and the last thing I want to talk about is gratitude and legacy. The gratitude that I have towards my parents and towards my grandparents. Now, my parents, they had their issues. Everybody's parents have issues. They're all, trying to grow up themselves, and they raise you, and you remember all of that stuff. So that's not as interesting to you as what your grandparents did or what your great grandparents did or where they came from. And that's why we have to cherish our ancestors. So now I can tell my own grandchildren and my great grandchild now, I can tell them about all of the stories. And this video really is kind of like a testament to them. So when I'm gone, they'll be able to see a video that talks about what things happened and what things I remember. So anyway, I would love to know what you have and something that you remember that your grandparents told you, or something that your grandparents, great grandparents, if they were alive when you were born, when you were little, if your great grandparents were still alive. It's just so unique, and it's a legacy. So, I want to tell you one thing. My husband and I, we love old movies and old TV shows. So we were online the other day, or watching TV the other day, and my husband loves martial art movies. And he said, "Do you remember the old movie that we used to watch called Kung Fu, a TV show with David Carradine?" And I said, "Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember any of the videos or any of the shows." Well, we found it on Apple TV, and we decided to buy the first season and watch it. It wasn't available you had to buy it. And so we were watching it. Holy cow, is that it could be made today, and it's just perfect. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because one day in one of the shows, he was looking for his grandparents. He was over, had lived in China, and then he moved over to the United States, or came to the United States, and he was looking for his grandparents. And of course, his grandfather at the time was not interested in knowing him at all, because there was a lot of unrest with the Chinese. Once he met his grandfather, he said, "Not only did I meet you, I met my great-grandfather, and I met my great-great-grandfather, and I've met everybody that came before you. So you are a part of all of them. So now I have found my heritage. I have found my legacy." That was so cool to see a TV show that was talking about it when I had already started thinking about doing this thing on cherishing our ancestors. At the very beginning, that I was starting to make a project bag. Now, I have to be honest with you, I didn't know what a project bag was. I went to visit my daughter. She lives in New Jersey, and we went to Cape May. And I went to a cross stitch store there, and I'm going to have to put the cross stitch store name up here. My mind is not telling me what it is right this second. But I saw these really cool bags. This is what it looked like. And I said, what is that? You know, and she said, well, it's a project bag. And I said, well, what do you do with it? She said, well, how many projects do you have going on at your house? And I said, oh, God, I have so many. And she said, well, where are they at? How are you, what are you putting them in? And I said, I have these little plastic boxes that I put them in, and then I'll set them aside, and I can't find it half the time because I've grabbed something out of one project to start on another project, so I have to go hunt it down. And she said, well, that's what a project bag is. And so I said, oh my gosh. So I bought 2 of them, and this is really cool. This is called my sheep bag, and it's by Shepherd's Bush Primitives. And it has all of the different things, and then it has the chart on the back, and it's all cross stitch. And then you cross stitch it onto the bag. And when you're done, then you can go in and put all your project, or put one project in there. So I bought another one. This is the first one I did, and it's autumn. And it was so cool. I actually have a project in here. I'm doing some scarves for the military as one of my volunteer things from work. And so this is one of my scarves that I'm making. And I have it all in here. And when I want to pick it up and go with it, I'm ready to go. So that's what a project bag is. And then you fix it up and, make it real pretty and all of that. So this is autumn. I hope it's not backwards. If it is, I apologize. I don't think it is. It looks like it's okay. All right. So the only thing is, and it's very hard to do because you have to do everything upside down. I had to do it upside down because the way I cross stitch. Now, other people might not have to do that, but I had to do it upside down and read the chart upside down because I couldn't get my hands in there to hold on to the bag to do the cross stitching, and I'd lose count. It was hard, but oh my gosh, I'm so excited the way it turned out. So I thought, well, why not make a project bag? So I came up with an idea, and I'm making my own pattern, and it'll be available sometime whenever I get it done. Okay, so this is the one I did. This is the one I'm starting. It is I'm using some fabric that I have. It's Waverly. I love this fabric. It's just ticking. And then I had this zipper. And I thought to myself when I was trying to put this one together, because the zipper's already in it, it's already put together and all that, and it was so hard to do. So I said, well, why not put the zipper in, go ahead and get it cut, and see, I've already got it cut out. I've already got it cut out like that. And so now I'm going to start, this is going to be the front because I'm going to turn around this way. I want to be able to open it from the left to the right. So this is going to be the front, and I'm going to do all of it in wool applique. So that was one of the things I did when I was over at the coffee house the other day. I went ahead and did my drawings, and so now I'm going to put my pattern together. And I decided I love all of these blues that I've got. All of this and all of that wool that I showed you last week. This is another pack of wool that I bought. I love all of the blues in here. And I held it up to this, and I thought, well, that goes really pretty with that black. So I'm going to do something, and I'm going to make a project bag. So that's what my next, as a matter of fact, when I finish this video, and I get it all edited and get it uploaded and everything, I'm going to go ahead and start. Come here, Maddie. Come here. I'm going to start putting things together, and I'll take a couple of shorts and things and put it on here. And then next week, whenever I'm doing this, I'll try to get it for you. But anyway, I just wanted to, I think that's all I was going to tell you today. My coffee's cold. I got to tell you about this mug. A lot of people say, when I read their comments, they say, why are you got a mug sitting there and you don't even drink it and blah, blah, blah. But this mug I bought my husband and I have an RV, and when we go out RVing, I always buy a mug in each one of the places that I go to. And this is Tolona Ridge in Georgia. Oh my gosh, one of the best RV places. And I love this mug. I use it every day, and it is just my favorite mug. But anyway, I don't know why I told you that. It's fun to tell you all kinds of things. I feel like I'm just talking to one person, not a million. Well, I'm probably not talking to a million anyway because nobody's watching my videos. But can you comment? Can you subscribe? And can you like? I would love it if you would. Next week, I'm going to show you how far I've gotten on this, and then I'll find something else to chat about and babble with you for a little while. But like I said a while ago, I feel like I'm just talking to one person. In fact, old Mike said one time, whenever you're doing this, he said, talk to just one person. And that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm just talking to one person. So if you're sitting there with your coffee and your breakfast, enjoy. And Marilyn says goodbye, and we will chat soon. Okay? Hope you'll come back next week, and you'll see how far I've gotten on this project back. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.